Thank you for coming back to the Tony Montana channel. A place where we educate the public about the breed and its non-fictional history. This channel does not promote illegal activities. The following audio talks about what it was like to school a dog when dog matching was still being done in the USA. The article was written by Rick Heather. Without further delay, let's start. The process of allowing a pit dog to learn about wrestling and maneuvering while competing with an opponent is commonly known among dog men as schooling. A person cannot force or teach a dog to fight. At least in over 35 years experience, I've never known anyone that could or known anyone that knows someone that could. Now, the humane societies, media, and cops will tell you different, but that's because they don't know any better. The crucial thing to know about schooling a young dog is to realize all dogs are different, and a dog man needs to be understanding of where the prospect is on his/her level of maturity. Like conditioning, there is no set program that should be used. Common sense is necessary. The key issue the humane societies, law enforcement, and supporters of anti-dog fighting don't understand is how a working dog's breeding instinct operates the dog mentally and physically. They don't actually know dogs or understand dog communication. Their thinking is clouded by propaganda and misinformation. Here's some examples that will help those of you that don't get this concept. Example 1, bird dogs, Brittany's, pointers, English setters, and other good pointing clogs that have in their chemical makeup what they are bred for are never happier or feeling better than when they are working birds. By this, I mean smelling a hot scent, preparing to point, and bringing in game. Granted, not all pointers, Brits, or setters want to hunt. Some of these are what my grandpa would call sooners. They'd sooner be home laying on the couch or playing in the yard. Now, to a pet owner, this probably isn't a problem, but to a professional breeder of pointer, English setters, or Brittany's, a dog like this is a bad apple. It shouldn't be bred because odds are, it will pass on characteristics undesirable to breed standards. Yes, a worthless hunter could be given away as a pet and neutered/spayed. No harm done. The plain truth is a breeder with a large volume of dogs often cannot or will not find enough homes for these non-working culls. Like most animal shelters, some culling, euthanizing, is necessary. If you think about it, giving worthless working dogs away without spaying/neutering quite possibly will contribute to mutts being sent to animal shelters later on. Example 2, hound dogs, coon, coyote, bear, mountain lion, and other trailers like beagles. These dogs are never happier than when bawling on the trail of the game they hunt. Their blood is boiling. They are in the zone. It's like some humans get when they are performing something they absolutely love, such as playing a musical instrument, a talented singer performing, or when a Super Bowl player is playing. As I said before, some breeds have an inner self that controls them both mentally and physically. Another good example is the racing greyhound. Go to a dog race sometime and get close to the boxes where the dogs are released. They are screaming, wild with excitement to be turned loose and allowed to chase that rabbit. Yes, they are racing, but what they really want is to kill that rabbit. Watch the handlers come and get the greyhounds immediately after the race. If those dogs weren't muzzled, they would not only shred that mechanical rabbit, they would fight each other to get to the rabbit. It's not uncommon for greyhounds to kill each other in kennel accidents. Most racing dogs are kennelled separately and wear muzzles when near other greyhounds. Yes, retired greyhounds often make great pets, but keep in mind they are usually spayed or neutered. Most greyhounds never make race quality and are euthanized at an early age. It is what it is. The real point here is, the true racing dog is never more happy or feeling more useful/satisfied than when allowed to race for that rabbit. An opportunity to be in the zone. Now, there are some dogs built for speed that simply want to chase game without harming them, but a greyhound, Irish wolfhound, and a few other dollar-peed dogs are bred to chase, catch, and kill. Get over it. The truth is the truth. This information is not my opinion or some sick person's slanted view. Any professional breeder of these dogs will verify all of these facts. Granted, most of the little Cocker Spaniels, Afghans, etc. no longer have that instinct they were bred for. They're Sooners due to not being selectively bred. Keep in mind, rolling a dog is dog fighting and a felony. Don't do it. This is simply an explanation of what professional dog fighters do or did. It's necessary for all to be aware of the truth, not what somebody imagined, or made up. You have to be educated to understand schooling, the reason for the examples I gave. Of course, the schooling process for bird dogs, hounds, and racing dogs differs from fighting dogs, but on the other hand, it's similar in that the most important ingredient is the strength of the dog's breeding. In other words, his desire, whether it be to hunt, race, or fight. Most of you have heard the old saying, "It's not the size of the fight in the dog." Well, there's a lot of truth to this. However, don't ever let a big pit dog beat up a little pit dog. That's like boxing. A good middleweight against a good heavyweight. Don't do it. It's unfair. It's inhumane. Now, pit dogs or pit bulls are bred to fight. Yes, sometimes they love people, usually, in fact. Some make great pets, do tricks, and get along with other dogs, but most well-bred pit bulls are going to eventually wake up to what's been bred into them, and that is to fight another dog or kill another animal. Like I said, folks, that's what they have been selectively bred to do for hundreds of years. You can't make a dog that doesn't want to hunt, or make a dog that doesn't want to race. Contrary to what the do-gooders want you to believe, we can't make a dog that doesn't want to fight. It's impossible, simple as that. Now, you may see some film the humaniacs made that show a dog beating up another dog. They will claim that the dog being beat up is being forced to fight. If you are enjoying this audio video, hit the like button, share, and subscribe to the Tony Montana channel. Now, let's get back to the article. Any respectable dog man will never leave an unwilling dog to be chewed and bit by a dog that wants to fight. This is ignorance. But guess what? The undercover state patrol snitch that brought a dog to fight against a friend of mine, brought a very poor quality pit dog and bet money on it. When his dog quit, he left it in the pit to be abused instead of picking up his dog like a real dog man would have. We didn't know it at the time, but he was filming the fight. They then took the film to the prosecutor and made it look like we did it. They also showed the film of their dog snapping and growling and screaming to the judge just before sentencing. They were trying to make me look bad. I would never have matched a worthless dog like that or had one of my dogs ever quit and start snapping and screaming like that. I would have thrown in the towel and picked up the dog immediately. But the undercover snitches, being the lowlifes they were, continue.cl letting their dogs suffer so they could keep filming. Our tax dollars at work. Now, with all this in mind, you should be able to get a grasp of how a real dog man schools a pit dog and how it is really a sporting challenge of breeder and dog. You should also have some insight on how a real dog man takes pride in good breeding, good care for his animals, and more. Importantly, how real pit dogs love fighting. Thus, making dog fighting a sport of canine gladiators for those that love them and breed them specifically, the school teacher. First of all, you don't go buy a pet bull puppy or grown dog out of the newspaper. Chances of that prospect making a fighting dog are similar to a Shetland pony winning the Kentucky Derby. When you want to cook up something good, start with good ingredients. There are hundreds of thousands of ill-bred pit bulls out there. Most are bred by puppy peddlers in the city to sell to some nitwit to make him look tough or mean. The owners enjoy the dogs scaring people, making the owner feel macho. This is really too bad for all of us. They're a danger to the public and an embarrassment to the professional dog fighter. A good dog man begins with a well-bred dog whose parents, grandparents, etc. were proven sporting dogs. Now, once in a while, a great fighting dog will come from nowhere and not be bred well. This is an exception, not a rule. The young prospect is either bred by the professional dog man or gotten from another reputable breeder. A puppy has to be given good care until he begins to mature. Some young dogs begin to want to fight at a very young age, sometimes at only a few months old. Puppies should never be allowed to hurt each other. It's similar to letting a little kid get beat up. Some dog men will roll an extremely aggressive dog for a short time when between 12 to 16 months old. This is very risky and unnecessary. A lot of knowledgeable dog men wait until their puppies are 18 to 24 months old. Most dogs are well too turned on by 24 months, but I have seen dogs that didn't start until they were 3 years old and still became quite good dogs. This was Mike Thibaudiex's philosophy. Mike was a great breeder in his day. Mike always said if you wait to roll a dog until it's 3 or 4 years old you'll look like a smart man. Like I've said before, every dog has his own personality and level of maturation. As a rule, it's safe to roll a dog for a few minutes at the age of 2 years. It's best to use a dog that's not a known rough dog as a sparring partner for your young prospect. It's similar to schooling a young boxer. You want him to learn and gain confidence/maturity before competing against top competition. A lot of breeders keep a roll dog on their yard to school with youngsters. A roll dog is normally a wise wrestler that doesn't bite real hard, possibly a good bred dog that can't compete in competition because of lost teeth, or even a middle-aged retired dog that's no longer as rough as he used to be. Incidentally, the roll dogs absolutely love getting to compete again, even if it's only for a very short time. During the roll, handlers talk to the young prospect, pet him, and stroke him, letting him know they are proud of him and what he is doing is favorable. He's proud and he wants to please. First roll is limited to about 5 minutes or less, if the youngster isn't having fun or getting his way. The last thing a handler wants is to scare him or discourage him. They scratch the youngster at least a few times while having the opponent hold the other dog during scratches and let the youngster complete a couple scratches. If the beginner had fun, he will be cleaned up, healed up, and rolled again several weeks later. If the youngster got his tail up and was wagging his tail with pleasure the entire time of the roll and scratched quite willingly, he enjoyed it and is turned on. He was in the zone while wrestling. The next roll is normally 10 to 15 minutes with more scratching. Dogs are often separated with breaking sticks to allow scratching. The young dog should always be allowed to scratch at the end, assuring his heart was still in it and he was enjoying himself. The young dogs are given an opportunity to do what they love. As they mature, their love often grows much like the hunting and racing dogs do as they mature and come into themselves. The young gladiators figure out holds they like and learn counter moves. Normally their confidence grows with more schooling. Dog men differ on how much schooling is necessary to determine when or if a prospect is to be matched. Commonly, before a young dog is matched, he will be compared to another of same weight and sex for a spar. Some dog men go ahead and match a young dog for a smaller amount of money without giving him an extreme game test. Others may roll the prospect pretty hard and determine whether it's wise to match the prospect for money. There isn't much a man can teach a dog about fighting. If there is anything at all you can teach them, I don't know about it. It really boils down to the dog's love of fighting, his athletic ability, his health, and what he has taught himself in the schooling sessions. Fighting dogs adapt completely different styles the way boxers do. They often fight different styles against different opponents. It really comes down to the basics like racing dogs. They either have it, or they don't. All a dog man can do is provide good care and an opportunity. So far, no one has been able to explain to me how letting an animal do what they love and what they are bred for, is cause for putting me in prison, stealing my dogs, and stealing my family possessions. It's my opinion that the numbskulls that brought dogs that didn't like fighting to us and filmed them should be the ones in prison. Derek aka Idiot. I hope you enjoyed the article. If so, make sure you subscribe to the Tony Montana channel and press the like button. Until next time,